up, dude?
Anyway, hello everyone. It's your show again, Johnny Lomondis, and we are delighted, we are excited to be here with you. Tell, find God's story and share with the world around you. You really never know what your story could do in someone else's space. Okay. Sometimes we have actually witnessed it. We have told our story, and people have identified with it. People have felt that sounds exactly like my story, and that can be encouraging, can be affirming. Sometimes we go through stuff and we wonder whether we are just the only ones walking the path. Okay, but you're not alone. You are not alone. I think is it the Bible that says makes that the temptation or whatever you're going through is common to man.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. So all right. Like I said already, this is January the Mondis. Karibuni sana, wherever you're joining us from. We are glad that you will choose to join with us. We are excited that we continue to tell this story. My name is Eric Omondi, and this is my wife.
Mary Mwikali, Omondi, ukitaka mwix wa Omosh.
Omosh. That's true. Awesome. It's I don't know how it feels like wherever you are, but I think if you're within Nairobi and na vitongoji vyake, kuna baridi. If you can grab a cup of coffee, I'm not trying to advertise for any coffee producers, but yeah, you can grab a hot cup of coffee or a hot cup of chocolate or even tea. Okay, you can do so, especially wale ambao wanaocha wakiwa home. Those who are still finding their way back home, I don't know how that would look like for you, but kuna kabaridi hata sisi tunaifeel hii pande ya Kavombo. So let's take a journey back to some of the conversations we had last time, which was a recording, and let's actually first just admit it that we tried. We wanted to try recording to see if now if circumstances wouldn't allow us to have a live show like we've always done, how that looked like, and we admitted that engaging you guys wasn't easy. Okay, so we just felt we'll just be doing it live. Now live way in a bamba mbaya because we get to read people's comments and we engage around those comments, and it becomes merrier and the party kanashika zaidi na zaidi. Okay, yeah, so we'll be doing it live, just like we have done, and if anything we will be communicated just like we've done in the past. But before I take us back to what we looked at last time, let me remind you that you can watch us, those who are on Facebook, but then you can also watch us on YouTube. And what you need to do if you're watching us on Facebook, you need to do a watch party. You need to do a watch party. I don't know if I can remember those instructions. Dante does an amazing amazing job. We miss you, man. But yeah, Dante and Laura will not be with us today. They're busy. They're held up with some stuff. Okay. So we have released them. But let me see if I can do what Dante does. So please go go to your wall, and where you're asked, what's on your mind, wachana na hiyo, look at those 3 dots. Is that what Dante says?
Okay, maybe I should be doing that.
Angalia hizo 3 dots and then scroll down. You'll see an option of share live videos, yes, and then search for Johnny the Mondis, and you'll see this video that is live right now, and then share that or watch that with your friends. Okay, so that is how you get to spread the story that is being shared here, and even your story, whatever comments you'll be sharing with us will be going out to those that you share with, okay, or you watch with. But then secondly, you can also watch us on YouTube live, and we encourage you to go like that channel. Johnny the Mondis is the channel. Go like that channel, share your comments down there, and you can also ring the bell. Ding, just ring the bell. Ding. And what that means, utakuwa unapata notifications. Now, like for example, if you had already done that, issue ikianza tu hivi, you would have gotten a notification. We go live like this, and you get a notification on your phone to let you know that the show has just started. Yeah, so please do that. Do that. But let's just get to know how people are feeling. How are you? Please, I can see some of you are already watching. Hata kama kuna baridi sana, usinyamaze sana. Please drop us some comments. Let's know where you're joining or you're watching us from. How are you feeling? Are you feeling cold? Okay, and just hoping to get home immediately and maybe get into some warm space. Or would you like a coffee, a cup of coffee, or a tea a tea of cup, whichever it is. I wish we could send you that by M chai, M coffee, and stuff like that. But really, thank you.
I've just actually managed to start a watch party.
You see, it works.
Yeah.
I gave instructions correctly. You need to clap for me. So let us know. I can see a number of you watching the show today. Tujulishe tu who you are. Okay, of course, your name will be there as you post, but let us know where you're joining from. Okay. And maybe the highlight of your week. I mean, that would be great. Mikali, do you have any highlight for this week? Anything that you're happy about?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what is the highlight that I can share. But just experiencing good health for me, it's an highlight because I've had issues with my back. Yeah, that's why I have so many pillows on my back.
Okay.
But I'm grateful that my back is doing well.
Yeah.
Yes, that's something that I'd call a highlight for this week.
Okay, that's great. For me, I think the thing that wraps my week that came today in the morning is a friend of mine who just landed a scholarship to go do her master's in India. I am very, very happy for this friend of mine. It's a highlight. And the highlight is not just actually getting that scholarship. The highlight is the story behind that scholarship. Okay. So I am very, very happy for her. Okay. The week has also been great. It's this has been my dad's first week back in the village. He just retired, and he seems to be coping very well. So I thank God for that. It's also a highlight. Okay. I don't know what your highlight is. Please share with us. Share with us your highlight. Share with us your highlight so that we can celebrate with you whatever it is that you're happy about. Anyway, let's go straight to the discussion of the day. But before we go to that, I mentioned to you that tutaongelea story yenye tuliongelea last time, which was a recorded. I don't know if you engaged with it. So we might actually visit a few things there, so that maybe those who really wanted to engage with the discussion, maybe you had a point you wanted to drop in there, we'll give you that opportunity. Okay, so we talked about we were actually building on the expectations so that we started way before even last week. Okay, how you get into marriage, you have expectations, but then they are not met, and there is frustration, there is disappointment that comes in there. So last week we were talking about how do you still become a husband and a wife, even though there are things that you expected that did not come through. And the thing that came out very clear in our discussion last week was the issue to do with
upbringing.
Upbringing. Wewe ulizaliwa wapi? Ulilelewa wapi? Who did you grew up with? Okay. But came to realize that they are very important. There are things that they have a lot of where we grew up. While growing up, the places we were taken by our parents or guardians or even those who are older than us, the language you spoke or people spoke around you. Unasikianga tu mtu in marriage their friends' names, mjinga wewe. They're hearing that from somewhere and they're saying it. Why? Because it is a reality that we'll have to catch up with them someday. Okay. So we had a bit of discussion on that. I shared my story of how I was brought up and how Mikalo was brought up, and just realized that we came from two different worlds and we clashed. My friend, we clashed. We clashed due to upbringing. There was unspoken expectations. Again, the issue of us expectations coming. There were will handle in the same way, and then there are totally different expectations. So we did not meet to build our own world. Okay, that is something that we ended the show with, celebrating that we needed to agree on creating our own and live, come out from our different worlds and create our own thing, friends, that has and will always marriage relationships. Now that we're talking about that, and we are sharing this from our experience, is personality. It's just another difference. Personality. And there's a question that is going down there, down your screen. Different. You are not the same as your spouse. That's how you complement each other. So how has it played out? Talking about how personality has played out for us as we tell or continue to tell God's story. But before I do that, I can see one of our big fans is already in the house. We want to celebrate this friend, this brother, Mark. And like I told you, but guy, this guy someday. Kuna story tunafaa tubonge. Nasikia unasema baridi ni kwenu tu. Okay, watu wa Isiolo ni joto. Okay, that's a good for you, man. But since I know that your family is in Nairobi, you need to check to check with them. I'm sure wanasikia baridi. I missed two past episodes. Was traveling on both occasions. Happy to be here today. We are more than happy to have you today, Oliver. Karibu sana. Kiti chako, I hope umeshapata. Okay, kiti chako umeshapata. We are grateful. I encourage you to continue sharing your story like we've always done, Oliver, even as you identify with some of what we'll be sharing. So, Moise, personality, manze. Let's talk. It has been one of the elephants.
Yeah, okay. I think talking of upbringing, it's upbringing. You can decide as a couple to come up with now a way of creating your own culture and your own world. But when it comes to personality, when I check into, because that is who you are. Even sometimes you feel like I've gone in this area, because each personality has some strength and weaknesses. So sometimes una feel nimegrow kwa hii area, but next time unajipata I'm still being impatient. I thought had grown out to be patient, but you still find yourself being impatient. So I think personality, it's something that will always be there. Personality difference, it's something that will always be there, but it gets better with time. It's now you continue to discover and become aware of your personality. Now we are very different. uh when we got married, I was the person, I was someone who takes time to really think about things. I still do, so I've grown in that. But Eric is the kind of the person who wants to do things immediately. So that is something that we really fought about, because uh, he would do things very fast, and I feel like no, we need to take time before we do. as in we make that decision. Sometimes you'll be wondering, si you decide to unangoja ku decide nini, si you decide, see, we just need to decide. And I'm thinking, no, as in bado sija decide, as in siko sure. I want to be sure of something before I say okay, sawa, tufanye hivyo. Sometimes I'll just say okay, we decide, because in my mind I'm thinking like, I don't want to decide and make it, I don't want to decide like when it's wrong, because my personality, I'm motivated by doing things right, and I feel like, no, I don't want to make a mistake. So naweza mwambia tu we decide to, now what you decide is what will go. Yeah, that is one way I can, you can maybe continue.
So basically, I think what Mwix is trying to say is that affirming that we are different in terms of personality, and our differences, our differences have played in in different ways, many times. I was hoping that you will pick at least one incident, a specific one. Let me see. We will talk about a number of them today. Okay. So to begin with, in the popularly known categories of personality, cholerics, melancholics, and
Sanguine.
sanguines. Okay, I am strongly a choleric. Okay, and she's strongly. That has changed. When we were getting married, she was strongly a melancholy, and she turned out to be strongly phlegmatic. Okay, so that we will not process things the same way, we will not see things, perceive things the same way, we will not, I mean, even speaking, we will not speak the same way. Okay, we will not do things in the same. Just like she has said, just to emphasize what she said earlier, we found ourselves maramob. Maramob, I want something, a decision made ASAP. Okay. Why? Because my head is telling me this has to be, I want to be done with it and forget. Okay. And I'll come to her, ask her, so what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And she will be wanting time. And I'm thinking this has to be done immediately. Okay. And that, of course, I don't think we would fight as much, but of course it will lead to now decisions being made in a particular way. Because there are times that now I needed her input in something, but najiambia tu, she will definitely take time to process it. So I would end up making the decision. Okay, and yet it affects her. It's not just my decision. Uh, and of course, there are times that I still would ask her for her input, but then, as usual, asking for more time, and I would like, I'll get grumpy, okay, and all that. But maybe sometimes she also felt the pressure of, give me the answer right now, okay, which maybe has led her to. I'm saying maybe because we've not talked about that, so I can't, but I can see her nodding, which has probably made her to give me an answer just for the sake of it. She's not processed, because naturally yanataka apate type, afikirie hiyo proposal nimepeana, I process. And what I've come to realize is when she's processing, anajuliza the pros and cons of this, okay, this whole issue, so that she doesn't make a mistake. Huku mimi ni tufanye tuende. If it's a mistake, we'll figure out how to, mend it huko baadaye. Okay. So that played out in a big way. Okay. And it's something that we're actually even experiencing even today. Today, we are still experiencing it. We actually had a scenario where I asked her something today with regard to this show, and she didn't have something to tell me. Okay, so it's not something that we can say that we have outgrown, or we have we are okay with. Now we are strong, and now we've learned how to live over that. We wouldn't say that, but it's something that we are aware of. At least we got aware that we are different. First and foremost, we are different in terms of personality, and that will clash. We will be clashing. Has been, how do we still clash, but then of becoming one. Now, with regard to my personality, am impatient. I get impatient with I've learned to be patient with people, but I get very impatient with things, especially machines. Hii imekuwa noma. Here, my head tells me that when I want to use, for example, a laptop, it needs to be like that. So when these things, or even my phone, when they're hanging, when they're not responding immediately, and in my head I'm thinking this is something that I need to work on urgently, I get frustrated. So I have found myself acting it out. I've found myself that leading to anger. Okay, because now it will spill out. Uh, I would be grumpy. I would shout. Okay, that point I'm feeling like just crashing that laptop and all that. And this is something that Mwix has had to to experience firsthand. See me getting into that space, you know, because of my my personality composition, or my built up. I don't know what you call it. So she has had to deal with me in that respect, and thankfully, she's of a different personality. So she'll be the one who'll probably be. She'll be silent. I've seen her, going just silent. Nikiwa kwa hiyo face. I don't know whether she's usually praying for me. I'll get to know today what exactly does she. All those things are responding in that manner. Times it even looks like, are you are you normal? Are you okay? This thing is not working as you expected. Why are you just calm? Okay, it feels abnormal. Sometimes the way she responds. I don't know what you'd like to say about that.
Okay, I think one of I would say is that time that I'm quiet, I'm just I'm just being rational. Okay, I work. So hata nikikasirika itanisaidia, and sometimes I feel like God anakufundisha tu kitu, I think okay, hiyo ni line yenye most of the time Eric hapendangi kwamba God is teaching me something. So most of the time I tell myself God is doing something, and like throwing tantrums and doing all that. I'm thinking that okay, so one of the strengths of my personality is about being rational. Um, yeah, vitu haziwork. There's always, I usually say, there's always the ideal, but the reality. So what we have is not the ideal the way you want them to work. So most of the time it's just asking myself, okay, so um what can we do here to salvage instead of being stuck there. So my mind is always looking at nini tunaweza fanya ndio tupate solution kwa hii story instead of now dwelling on it. So when he's in that state, I just sit and say, okay, sawa, we acha Mungu deal tu naye, just show him what to do, calm him down, help him to be patient, because most of the time when he does that tunaenda kuchelewa kufanya kitu yenye if we would have looked for a solution tungefanya. So most of the time I just let it be, because sometimes pia learning through experience is what helps people. So sa God mi nipatie kuwa patient naye pia msaidia kuwa patient. Yeah, that is what I would say.
Okay, the conversations are going on. Let's see what Mark Oliver has said here. Personality plays a big role, and as Ali mentioned, most of the time you get attracted to the opposite of you, basically because your spouse fills in the missing gap in you as a person. That is so true. Can you imagine, Oliver, and the rest of us, if you got married to someone that is just like you? I know people joke and say, I don't know whether it's a joke or whether it's a reality. I mean, people have been married for so long, sometimes you hear them saying, we just think the same. Okay, we just think the same. They finish words for each other. Don't know how far that can go. I really don't know. But while that can possibly happen, you will always be different. I think so. At a twins, our Kwangi are 100% same. Okay, so you can imagine people who grew up in different circumstances, people who are, you know, who are people are different, so to speak. How different can that be? You wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say there are those moments when you'd say, you're so married.
Yeah.
You just nimekumalizia. You say something, I finish for you and all that. You're so married. Yeah. So that happens.
Yeah, and of course it happens because of the time that you spend together. You get to understand which is now like, and I think we'll talk about this later. So how do you still allow yourself to want to understand the other person, uh, to just live in harmony, not be in competition. Okay. Oliver also says there are those who are outgoing like myself, and we can talk about that now. Post anything, comment anything in any forum. Now my spouse is opposite, very reserved. Mark Oliver, ushaipost kitu ukaambwa sasa hiyo mbona ulipost? Did you have to post that? Okay. And that is I like the fact that you're bringing this up. Because saa zingine maybe unaweza, because if you're the outgoing one, you could post something and your spouse is feeling very exposed. She's really, did you have to do that? And it becomes an issue. Okay, but the issue is not the posting. The issue is that you are different in terms of personality. Okay, and we can be thinking about us, because we'll be sharing that our story with regard to that just in a moment. Let me see what Oliver says here. She has a problem, even just posting her picture. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. That's who she is. I don't think that's a problem. And maybe that is one of the mistakes. We have made that mistake with each other, to a point of wanting the other person to behave like us. As in fact, every time that I have pushed Mwix to do things in a particular, it's because I want her to be me. I want her to process things like me. I want a quick answer because I'm assuming that this world is filled with people who are like me. Okay. So when she's not being me, I am frustrated. Okay.
Yeah.
And it can easily make me feel like she has a problem.
And sometimes I say something and then kuna vile tu yeye ameframe comment yake nilikuwa nafaa kuisema, and I keep on telling, I cannot think like you, I cannot speak like you, I'll just speak like me, I'll just think like me. There's no way that I'm going to, as in to say something the way you think in your mind,
Yeah.
I should say it.
That's true. Tuongelee history ya kupost. So now, with regard to personality, I mean, we say that the other personality is a sanguine, and that's my second personality, okay? So sanguines, they don't care. I mean, they live a life of a party. Everything comes and goes, okay, easily. And I think that's what Oliver is trying to is trying to confess to be. And thank you for being open with us, Oliver, like you've always been. So you post anything. You're in Mombasa, you want to post, isn't it? Yeah. The world has to know that in Mombasa, sanguines also like taking pictures. I think so.
Yeah, but you don't like taking pictures.
That's why I'm posing. That's why I'm posing. I think sanguines, because they like to show the world, it is easy for them to show the world what's going on around them. Of course, photos are good to do that. But I don't do that as much. In fact, thought about that.
I like taking pictures. He doesn't like taking pictures, and so when we just got married, it was a big issue. I'll just get mad nowadays. But it was something that it will make me so mad. I'd want, mbona hataki kupigwa picha na mimi, mbona hataki kupiga picha, mbona, why is he complaining? That was a real big challenge for me. Mpaka I would just get mad na jam tu nikumwambia tupige picha na hataki, and then I would see you would take pictures with other people sometimes, and mbona mimi ndio hutaki kupiga na mimi, you know, that's how I would feel. Yeah, but now I've come to terms to siwezi mlazimisha kupiga picha.
Anyway, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that first post that Mark shared. Still talking about photos. So the truth is, I am not a photo kind of a person. I've had to learn, and being pastors, ministers, there are many occasions where we have been asked for photos of us, and then also, you know, we also need to do regular journals for what God is doing for those who are supporting us in different ways, just, you know, to update them, or regular updates. So these two things have taught me the value of just keeping record, taking photos. But it's something that I'm still learning. But I remember earlier on, manze, we would fight. We would go to a place, we are very okay, something like a wedding or maybe any event, and Mikali would just say, "Babe, tupige picha na wewe." And of course I'll be thinking, and that's how we'll go back home, maybe not talking to each other. That's how the day will just get spoiled. Why? Because I was asked to take a photo. Okay, I was asked, come, let's take a selfie, or, you know, na nikakata, ama I would respond like, I don't want, but then now I want to do it for her, but then of course she will not accept it because nilishakata. So we did that for quite a while, but right now I think there's something that Oliver has posted here that I would like to read and go back to the other posts that he has posted. I want to post this because of something I want to say. So with time, we have learned to let the other person just be who she is or who he is. Okay. And I like this. One lesson I have learned is to allow my wife be who she is. That's the truth. We do not get married. We did not get married as Mwikali and Omondi for Omondi to change Mwikali and Mwikali to change Omondi. It can't work. But we got married again. Oliver said it earlier. We got married so that together we can build, you know, a world of our own, where we complement each other. One of the things, and we used to joke about this in respect to complementing each other. I'm tall. but she's vertically challenged.
No, I'm not vertically challenged. I'm short. That is not a challenge.
My mix is vertically challenged. So
That's not a
when you were
challenge.
getting married, we used to say, actually before we got married, and even the first few months of our marriage, we used to say, vitu za juu, I'll be the one getting. Okay, anything to do, getting stuff from the cabinet, all that. Vitu za juu, I will take care of that. But za chini kama kufunga viatu, ushanifunga viatu.
Mara moja, I think.
So you did not live up to our agreement.
It was not. It was not kufunga viatu.
No, that was one of those. That
was
was one of those. Anyway, so we agree that vitu za chini za kucheza chini hizo ni zake. Okay, so that is how we complement each other. Okay. So this is a good post, Oliver. Yes.
Yeah, and I think also when you learn to just allow the other person to be them, it also makes them, maybe there are things that they will learn maybe after making a mistake. Like for example, taking photos. Unajua, since Eric does not like taking photos, angefika place anataka kutumia picha but he doesn't have a picture. He doesn't have it. So naambia, okay, sawa, wewe nilikuwa nakwambia tupige picha unakaza, so now you need a photo but you don't have it, So maybe that actually imemsaidia. Sometimes you just take photos for future use.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning to do that. Laura Naere, we can see that you are following. Thank you for following. I hope you did a watch party so that you can follow with your buddies. Let's see what Mark Oliver says. Says, nikipigwa na wewe na hutaki ni post, hiyo ni shida. Inaniwasha nitapost saa ngapi? Na as long as uko ndani utanipimia.
Yeah, I hear you, Oliver. That's why I taking selfies. I just take selfies of myself most of the time. Erika anashinda kinaniambia, mbona huyu simu yako umejaa picha au sijui nini? But I just take selfies of myself so that I can post myself. Sababu sasa yeye ataki kupigwa picha. I hear you.
Oliver, hiyo give me a second.
Hapo hiyo.
So hiyo nayo ni moto.
Very true.
So Oliver unasema as long as niko kwa hiyo picha, mambo kuna jambo moja ambayo itakuwa ni pressure. I'll tell you, let's say if you post it, it's a picture that has me in it. So I'll tell you, check it. It's only 1 hour. 1 hour. After 1 hour, drop the picture. Or drop the post or something like that. Anyway, but at least we agree. It looks like history, a picture ni issue. Apparently, and what we can pick from that is that the truth is, kuna wase wa picha, kuna wase wa picha. So wewe jua mtu wako.
I think there are couples who are different.
Yeah.
Wanapenda kupost. You see mtu amepost, you see the lady has posted, unaona the guest post. Hawako tu sawa na drive tu. But kuna wengine.
But kuna place nyingine yenye pia wapatani. There is an area in which, of course, their personalities are differing. So yeah. Yeah. So that's a good one. You also say, Oliver, that however, just learning the like and dislikes of the other person helps. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Even as we allow ourselves to grow as well. Yeah. So let me just remind you again, guys, as we carry on with these conversations, this is Journey Domondis, and this is a ministry. It's not more than a show. It's a ministry of the two of us. We are a couple, Eric here and Mwix. We are the Omondis. And this is a place where we get to tell our story that has a big God behind it. So we call it a God story. Why are we sharing this story? You could be wondering, why would someone come on our screen to just tell us, their story? We're telling you this story because we are what we are where we are because of what God has done. Okay. And we would like you to know that God can do the same for you as an individual, as a marriage, or as a couple, regardless of how long you've been married. God has given you a story, so you can get in touch with it and begin to share your story. You don't need to do a show like this, maybe, but you have people around you that your story can encourage, or your story can pull up, okay, and make them want to try, okay, something that you have stepped into, okay. And you catch us every Monday. This comes to you every Monday 7 p.m. both on Facebook Live and YouTube as well. Tunakwanga na hosts, lakini
Ana follow.
leo hosts wana follow.
Ana follow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kuna mshahara
and
tuliskip wakaona wakuji job.
yes.
Ni sawa.
The Facebook page to follow is Journey the Mondis, and the YouTube channel is Journey the Mondis. You can subscribe hapo kwa YouTube na unaweza ona hata videos za kitambo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that you can join the stories. Okay. Let's read what Laura has just posted here. Mikali ndio huinamachi.
Hapana, staftangi. Luckily, socks maybe napoteza nikifua nachukua moja instead of kuchukua mbili. But for him, he's very organized with this stuff.
That's a good one, but nimecheka, but that's not true, Laura. Kuinama tu kufunga viatu ndio anafaa, lakini hii hajakuwa akifanya poa.
Actually, maybe I should try hiyo kuinama kufunga viatu, but I doubt kama nitafunga na nakose kufungua afunge tena. So that is what will make me not tufunga hizo viatu.
Tumetoka hiyo story. Hiyo story tulitoka. Okay. Quickly, let's read what Oliver has posted here. If someone can tame and live with a snake or an animal, how about us human beings? Wow. That is profound. Wow, that is very, very profound. And by the way, let me pause right there and say this. Recently, I was having a story about dogs. I was listening to someone who knows a lot about dogs, and he was actually telling me, you could confirm this, I don't know how true this is, but he was telling me that dogs were naturally wild. So it's something that we humans have learned to domesticate. Okay. So if today we can be that friendly with dogs, and live that way, and any other animals, like Mark Oliver puts it, why is it so difficult to live with a fellow human being?
Because you want to control them to be you.
Maybe. But I don't think really the question, I don't think really the motive is to get an answer, but I think what Oliver you're trying to say is we can live together and live together in harmony, appreciating one another for who they are, and not feeling like we are better than them or they need to be like us, and not even feeling like we need to compete with the other person. That is very profound. If you know your spouse well and agree on what you can compromise and what not, trust me, you will thrive. That's a thriving couple there. Wow, Oliver, very profound, very profound. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, there's also another aspect of personality that I wanted us to talk about, maybe as we approach a time of closing. Again, like I said, my second personality after being a choleric, which is my primary one, is a sanguine. And sanguines can be loud sometimes, okay? And no, not sometimes. Sanguines are loud. But if it's your secondary personality, it is sometimes, okay? So, earlier on in marriage, I think there are times my sanguine personality would come in or check in, and my wife would be thinking, you're too loud. And especially when now I'm at a space where I get loud when I'm meeting specific people. There are places that I'll go to, and you would wonder whether this is Eric. But there are places where, I will be so loud. I'll be out there. So at the beginning, she would wonder. And then joking also. I would joke about a lot of things, and that person checks in, and she'll be thinking, umevuka, umevuka mpaka. Do you remember? Do you
Yeah.
remember this?
Uh, Actually, one of the things I remember is kama tuko na issue, and then
Mm.
and then Eric would be quiet.
We are not talking.
He's not talking to me, but we go somewhere and he's all over everyone. I'm then like, what's wrong with this dude? He's not talking to me, but he's talking happily with everyone else. I'm thinking like, huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Let's open up a little bit more here. Now, when we got married, and even I think this moved even from when we were dating. Again, I don't know whether this is a personality issue, but I know that there's a way I processed conflict before, which wasn't good. Okay, this one I admitted that this is who I am, but it's not the best way to process conflict. So tulikuwa tukikosana, I will do days without talking. By the way,
The silent treatment.
I would give Mwix the silent treatment. Days we are not talking. She cooks, we eat, we do this, we do things we can do. We can even work on something together, but
Even
not
plate
talking
to
to
eat
her.
from the same plate. But you're not talking.
But in that scenario, we are not talking. That case, we go out there, we're meeting people, of course, now. Hawajanikosea? Hawa watu hawajanikosea? Why should I be angry at them? Why should I not be talking to them? So I will definitely be speaking to them, and that will bother Mkali. That will eat her up. Okay.
Kwanza naongea na finyo, yani unaona
Sasa unaona nasema tunaongea na finyo. I wasn't doing that na finyo. I was actually just being me. Kumbe yeye kwa akili yake anajiambia I'm doing that for her.
Kama nataka kunionyesha vile tumekosana na vile naweza ongea na watu wengine. That's how I used to feel.
But yeah, so that is another thing that played personality, and we have had to process that. We'll be closing in a moment, and we'll be talking about now some of these stories and even more that maybe we have not shared. What are some of the things that we learned, and how has that helped us to be different as we continue growing in marriage? Okay. But yeah, that was one of the big ones. It was quite big. I'll go silent, no speaking. Mpaka, and what is happening at this point, I think I'm playing the Russia's one. Not I think. I was actually playing the Russia's one in my head, because the question I kept asking myself was, how could she do that? How could she say that? How could she do that? Okay. And why? Because I wanted her to behave, to do things in a particular way. Okay. So it wasn't easy until I allowed myself to grow into a space where I can process things differently, or process conflict differently. Okay.
But I like the fact that even when that was happening, I was also taking time and asking myself, what can I learn from this? And one of the things I learned is just how to be patient. When to be patient and to be kind. It's good. It's easy to be kind to someone when they're kind to you, but when they're not kind, it's hard. And one of the things the Bible talks about love is being kind and being patient. So that season, God really taught me about how to be patient and how to be kind. I really, really learned that. So I think also our differences are opportunities for us to learn some things that God wants us to learn, some virtues, some things that God is seeing that we are lacking in. So it's good to also focus, sometimes just focus on you and ask, in this conflict or whatever is going on, what does God want me to learn, or what can I pick out of this, out of this maybe personal difference, or this issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the question we're asking you, and thank you for particularly Oliver, who's been with us, who's been sharing his comments, and Laura, who also is part of the conversations today. Maybe she's not experienced this
Mm.
yet, but the question is, personality is one of the ways we are different as spouses, as siblings, So how has it played out for you? How has it played out for you? If you're watching on YouTube, you can also share your comments. If you're on Facebook, like Kina Oliver here, you can share your comments. Oliver says that he relates with this what I just said, the ability to switch within personality. Yeah, actually, what usually happens is we cannot say that you are 100% a particular personality.
Mm.
You still have aspects of these other personalities in a particular order. So of course there are places where you find yourself and a particular personality shows up strongly. Okay. So yeah, that is true, Oliver. Someone who maybe in a particular world, maybe in the office, people think that you are the loud, the you are the sorry, I think I went further. It could be someone who maybe kwa ofisi watu wanadhaningi you are the most quiet person. They find you with your siblings. They realize you are the comedian of the house. Okay, so these things happen. Yes, that's how it happens to me as well. There are places I go, and you think this guy is too loud. You find me in another place, and you wonder, is it? I'm the guy that if you find me in a place, and sometimes people can ask me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Those who know me well will ask, "Are you okay?" And it comes out for sanguine. Those who have the aspects of being sanguine, they would get to a place and laugh loudly with others. And you've not done that with your spouse for the last 1 week, and they're wondering, okay, who is
What's
this
so
person?
funny?
And they even wonder what is funny about what that guy said. Surely, okay, personality playing in. Okay, you also say, however, as a man, sometime in processing conflict, you want to protect your spouse. Wow. Commenting or trying to resolve that might be in anger, and you will react instead of act with will deteriorate the situation. Best way is just keep silent. Well, we could talk about that could be a whole thing to do with conflict resolution, and of course personalities also have a big role to play in how we resolve conflict. So it's just for me to know, is it the best way, or can I learn another way? Okay. I think one of the things that really helped us as a couple, in our first year, we took an experience that is called reality check, that led to us being part of a community that we actually meet regularly with. We actually had that meeting yesterday. And in that experience, we learned things to do with conflict. We actually discovered that we have people who run away from conflict. We have those who give the silent treatment. We have those who want answers there then. They want the conflict, resolved there and then. Tumekosan, let's deal with it right now. And someone is thinking,
Get done in
please
it.
give me time. I need to process. Give me some time. I still want us to talk about this. I want us to resolve it, but maybe give me a week or 3 days.
A
Okay.
week is too long.
So we are different. So it is just knowing who you are and knowing where you need to compromise, and where you need to be patient with the other person, and all that. But yes, I take note of what you have just said. Let me take your last two comments, Oliver, and then we can share a few things we have learned from this as we close. And when tides cool off, you solve. Yes, you solve that. Sometimes you are thinking of solutions. Sometimes you are organizing yourself to say sorry, the hardest word to a man to utter. Yes, I agree with you. There are times that manze, I've gone to that bed. I'm telling myself I need to say sorry, but I'm just saying, hey, God is good. The Lord changes the hearts of men. He sees and He knows the hearts of men and He changes. So I agree with you. As a man, I found myself, the spirit is willing to admit my mistake and say sorry. But the body wants to find the best way, okay? The best strategy to bring out that soil.
Yenyewe
So
tuonekana kama wewe ni weak.
yes, you understand. So we could talk about this, in length, maybe in different forums. I pray that the Lord gives us opportunities to talk about this. But those are realities. We have experienced that. All just balance that it doesn't drag too long. I agree. Don't take a conflict too long because it affects a lot of other things in the relationship. Just like from my story, the silence, of course, affected communication. Okay. It affected fellowship.
Yeah.
It affected intimacy. Okay. So I agree. Totally agree with you, Oliver. Don't drag it too long, even though you might need, if you're the kind that needs some time to process before resolving, don't drag it too long. We actually learned that they're called runners. We actually learned that the best way for them, the area they will need to grow, that kind of a person is, which has helped me in a big way. Okay. So I'm not just telling stories of people. So the areas that I've needed to grow in is, as a runner, you need to be clear that you need some time, but give a deadline. Say, I want us to talk about this, but can we talk about it on Monday? So that the one that wants it resolved now has something to wait on and it's clear. Don't say, I can't talk right now, we'll talk later. When?
Yeah, and sometimes you might say that we'll talk later and never address it.
And never bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, the things that we have learned, let me talk about myself. The things that I've learned with regard to personality, our differences in personality is one, just like we have said this over and over and over again, God's wisdom is in play in marriage relationships, complementing each other. And I like it when the Bible says, the two shall become one. My friend, isn't it work to become one? It is work. And God knows that it is work. That's why it can only take his hand. That's one of the greatest lessons I've learned. God's intention is that my wife here and I become one, as he has said in his word. But it is not just me. It's not just me coming and saying, now we are one. It is a lot of work. Allowing God every day to make us one as we build our own world coming from different worlds, as we learn to, appreciate and accommodate each other. Okay. The second thing I've learned is that there is no personality that is better than the other. Even though that is what I acted like unknowingly, okay, sounding or looking like Mix here needs to be like me, needs to do things or speak like me. My personality is not better than her personality. That's just who she is. And just like I need support with who I am and I need to grow in where I need to grow, her personality or her, she also needs the same thing. She needs support in who she is. And where she needs to grow, she needs to note that. And it shouldn't actually be my headache. It is her to know where she needs to grow in terms of her weaknesses, just like I do my part also. And where I need her support, I can reach out and say, I desire to grow in this area. And this is how I would like you to support me. So that it's not me saying, you need to grow here. So I will help you to grow here. That is a great, great lesson that I have learned.
I think I've learned, I would say maybe the same lessons. Because about just appreciating who the other person is, because we complement each other. Like for instance, him being impatient and me being patient, we complement each other there. I'm just imagining if both of us were impatient, how things will be. They will maybe just fly everywhere. But just the fact that we are different, then we complement each other. The fact that that is the person who will do things fast helps us to get going. Because if both of us were just taking ages to process, then we'd never even get anything done. But just having him challenge me, that you can do this. Sometimes because maybe I feel like no, I can't do this. There's so many. I would say that I've really grown because of just being challenged by him, that yes, you can do this, instead of processing throughout, you can do something. So just being different brings two people together and they complement each other, and one is running too fast, the other one is maybe going too slow. They need to learn how to be patient. Maybe someone feels that they are better. God wants them to learn how to be humble instead of being proud, so being different really helps people to just compliment each other and just have something that is sweet, and not try to change the other person. Is something that I've learned. I don't like, I wouldn't like him to be me, because I think it would be boring. It would be boring. So it's better when he is himself and I am me, then we complement each other. And I've also learned, like I'd said earlier, that in those differences, God is teaching us something. God is always teaching us something. So we should be on the lookout on what God is teaching us and work on that, and not try to change the other person.
Great, great. Those are lessons from our personality differences. Just posted something there to remind you. This can be your take home. Okay. Uh, Again, we are not saying this because we are gurus. We are just telling our stories and the things that we have learned from our story. You being different is to add flavor to your union. It is not so that you fight each other. Us being different is so that we add flavor to our union, as God makes it possible for us. We are not different so that we fight. We are different so that we even come closer. Come closer. Okay? And let me take this post by Oliver as the last one before we say Kwaheri. Marriage in itself is work. You have to work it out. No one is going to do the work for you. Everything will not just fall in place. I agree. We have to make them fall in place as a team. You and your spouse, amazing, as a team, not allowing any other person to come divide you or any other thing. All in all, remember you are not the enemy here, but you are a team. Profound, man. We win together by pulling each other up and covering each other's back. Appreciate each other differences and use it to make each other better. How else to end the show this evening? Very profound, Mark Oliver there. And we appreciate your story. We appreciate your wisdom. You having been married way many years, ahead of us.
6 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being willing to share your story. And these are amazing, amazing thoughts and wisdom that you have shared with us. This is a place where we get to tell our different stories, which are just knitted together by who? The God of heavens, okay, and the earth, the maker of everything that exists, including you and I. That was Journey with Omondis, friends, and thank you for spending time. Today we had only 2 guys commenting, and it feels like we had 30 people.
Yeah.
We only had Marco. I know there are some of you that we have seen you're watching, and we thank you for watching. But we encourage you to comment. You have a story, please share it. Like I told you, you never know what it will do to someone. But Mark Oliver and Laura, you made it feel like we are engaging a community of 30 people.
Yeah.
The Lord bless you. Thank you for spending time. We see you again next Monday, same time, same place. The story of the Omondis, which of course welcomes in your story. You catch us live on Facebook, 7 p.m. and on YouTube, 7 p.m. For
On
now,
Mondays.
on Mondays, yes. For now, we say
Kwaheri.
Kwaheri sana. You have a beautiful story. Please allow the Lord to unveil it for you. Okay, great.